Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astrogat Mysore, and today we are understanding Buddhi Jada Yoga. So I had done Jada Yoga. It is a different yoga in which a person goes blank in certain situations, and a very knowledgeable person going blank. Here, this is Buddhi Jada Yoga. In this yoga, the results are a little different, and I will be giving you the results after the next explanation, that is the definition of the yoga, and then explanation, and then I'll give you the results of the this particular yoga. So the first few factors, there are three factors which are important for this yoga to be formed. I have put the example chart, but let us understand the factors. Ascendant is posited with a malefic. That means there has to be a strong negative malefic in the ascendant. Next, Saturn should be in the fifth house, the house of imagination, creativity, and also the house of motivation into a particular subject for higher studies. So, Saturn in the fifth house from the ascendant or with the fifth lord. So, the fifth lord also represents creativity, imagination, and motivation, and higher studies. So, if Saturn is either in the fifth house or with the fifth lord, with the fifth lord being weak, is also to be considered. So I have not mentioned that fifth lord is weak because the yoga doesn't specify it. But if the fifth lord is weak, if the ascendant lord is also weak, see, the third factor is ascendant lord is either conjunct or aspected by Saturn. So if the ascendant lord is weak, let us say it is weak here, the fifth lord is weak. And Saturn is a malefic for that. It is not specified once again. So, what Madam has told here is a very peculiar doubt that what if Saturn is a Yoga Karaka for that particular ascendant? Obviously, Saturn, if it is a Yoga Karaka for that ascendant and if it is sitting in the fifth house, will not give rise to this yoga until unless it is debilitated or it is hit by a Rahu's placement, or Saturn itself becomes retrograde. So those are complexities and variations. So we'll go into it. So Madam is right in saying that Saturn should not be blindly assessed. So that's right. So the three factors are so and so. Ascendant is posited with the malefic, factor number one. Number two is Saturn in the fifth house or with the fifth lord. Ascendant lord is either conjunct or aspected by Saturn. So Saturn and the fifth house are very important. So more than the ascendant lord, the fifth house and the fifth lord and Saturn are the key players in this particular yoga. So let us see the example. In this example, I have taken Sagittarius ascendant with Rahu in the ascendant, with Ketu in the seventh house, a debilitated fifth lord Mars with Saturn, and we have the ascendant lord also debilitated. So it's a classic example where the ascendant lord is weak, the fifth lord is weak because of debilitation. You should also see the Shadbala. But here it is classic example because it has fallen into the eighth house. So the Lagnadipati is debilitated and it has the axis of Mars and Saturn aspecting over it. If it was only Mars, it was a different issue altogether, but it is Saturn. So Saturn is here fulfilling the factor that it is aspecting the ascendant lord. Ascendant lord is aspected by Saturn, and Saturn is either in the fifth house or with the fifth lord. Yes, it is with the fifth lord, and ascendant is posited with the malefic. So, same thing I have shown you in the North Indian style chart, where Rahu is in the ninth sign, that is Sagittarius. The 10th sign Capricorn has a debilitated Jupiter. We have Ketu in the seventh from the chart, and then in the eighth house, that is in Cancer, we have Mars and Saturn. So this is a clear-cut example of Buddhi Jada Yoga, and let us know the results of this yoga. So here, the native may be a careless, carefree, and non-functionary. It doesn't have to. He doesn't have to always be foolish, but he will be lethargic, may not want to take any responsibility in life, and would be an escapist, and also incompetent in certain fields of his job. So there are many people who take up a job because of influence or because of their luck. They get into a job and then they are like, parasites depending on others to finish their job. And how many of you itself would have experienced such colleagues sitting next to you? They have come there by some hook or crook or luck, and then they are depending upon their bosses, because their boss will be a close, some aide or relative or somebody, and he will be protecting them, and the boss will be guiding, please go and teach him know how to do. So these type of people are the people whom I am referring to in the first result. The second result is that when the ascendant lord is strong, but there is Buddhi Jada Yoga, a person will be overconfident, and due to his one way attitude, not listening or learning, that is, he is closed in one place, may take rampant decisions, due to which he may cause a downfall to his own financial status. So he might put the stone on his own leg. So that means, because of overconfidence, not listening to people, creating one after the other blunders in life, and still he will not agree that he has done this mistake. He's as good as Duryodhana in Mahabharata. So he had a very big Buddhi Jada Yoga, I think so, because how much ever people were trying to put, brains, intelligence into his brain was totally sealed. It did not accept any learning at all. This is like the reverse of the rags to riches. So, rags to riches is the person who takes all the difficulty in life, goes through hard turmoil and struggles, and up the ladder, and he goes from rags to riches. This is the reverse. It is richness to rags. It is like, some people will make all the wealth and give it to his son or his grandson, who does not have any brains to manage it. So he doesn't know how to manage the assets, and finally, what will happen is that he will squander it within some time and finally end up nowhere. So this is another Buddhi Jada Yoga result. When I told you the ascendant is a quite strong placement, but the other placements are all still there. Number three, when the ascendant is very weak, fearful and gets intimidated and never wants leadership position. 11 never wants to stand up to any situation, never wants to fight for any cause. He will be like a dunce in front of many. So these people will not get any respect even in their family circles, and has no confidence over his own strength or skill. They will be skillful, they are introverts, but they do not want to get involved, and in situations they feel like, the mouse amongst the cat. So amongst the cats. So the point of Buddhi Jada Yoga does not only limit itself to a person, being ignorant, or a person who is foolish, or a person who doesn't know the things. It can also mean that a person will not listen, a person will escape himself from the situations, as I've explained, the three factors very important in this yoga. And this yoga has a lot of variations, and you people, if at all you have some set of examples, you can put it on the comments, and it will be helpful for everybody who is learning astrology. Thank you very much for today's class.